Hi, Leo rising sign. Here is your weekly forecast starting on the 28th of April until 4th of May. So, welcome back, Leo rising sign. We are in the middle of quite a significant shift, right? To understand where we are going, we have to recognize the internal rearrangements you have been undergoing. Last week, Venus met Uranus in your 10th house, the house of career and public reputation. And potentially, you felt a sudden disruptive eureka moment. You were pushed to detach from all professional titles. You potentially decided to leave your job behind or a public image that no longer felt a true reflection of your own power. And now we're moving into a new sequence. So Venus shifted signs and then made a sextile to Neptune. Now it makes a trine to Pluto and Jupiter, and then it makes a sextile to Saturn as well. So that's why I wanted to briefly touch base on the Uranus Venus conjunction on the 29th, which, by the way, last year happened as well, exactly on 29th degree on June 4th. So therefore, what it really kind of like indicates is that you have been sitting on a decision making for a while. And maybe that Pluto is now empowering you. Maybe you are moving away from a career status to more of a connections department. You're being asked to take that new sense of independence and apply it to your network, your goals, your future vision. Venus is transiting your 11th house, the house of community, friends, and long-term goals. So with that trine to Pluto, this is a massive activation of your professional alliances. Maybe you call in certain type of favors. You decided to leave your job, and then you are calling your friends around who knows something better. Or maybe you altering your relationships to more power. Maybe with Juno also sitting in your seventh house, you are entering this new long-term commitment, not necessarily to a romantic partner, but to a key collaborator, a client who demands you take your shared power seriously. Maybe you have been a lone wolf. You have been wearing that lone wolf mask, and you are stepping into a position where you can own your place in a team. So this isn't about fitting into a group, it's about leading a group. Maybe you are ready to go on social media, for example. Maybe you have been undervalued in your collaborations, or if your professional associations haven't been giving you back what you put in, then this is about you resetting those dynamics. And I'm going to be negotiating. We are auditing our network. Who is actually helping you build your future? Your community is somehow your highest value currency. And yes, we need to be relying on them. We can make powerful connections with them because they might be able to actually drag you out of any type of mud. But Venus is also making a square to the nodes. The nodes are sitting across the second and the eighth house axis. And this is a classic tension between your personal income and your values and your shared resources and intimacy. So maybe you feel tempted to spend money to keep up appearances within your social circle when you actually need to be focusing on stabilizing your own bank account. Because let's say you've got debts. Hebe also enters your 11th house, and Hebe is the archetype of youthful service. It's in the house of community also. So you stop trying to force your network to pay off and start looking at what type of leadership, what type of service I can do, for example, online that eventually is going to give me money. It also feels like that you are at a financial decision with this T square. And this might be about, do I want to have a loan, or am I going to ask for a personal favor from a friend of mine, and so on. There might be potentially a bit of a financial pressure that is rising. It just says pause a little bit. Instead of overcommitting to social obligations, who can actually support me? Yes. Maybe this is simply about you thinking of an online business, for example. Now, Mercury is in your ninth house, making a conjunction to Chiron, and then it's going to be shifting into your 10th house. So this is about you having to heal your belief system. It might be talking to you about you feeding your mind with certain type of negative things, like, oh, there's no point in changing jobs, for example, right? Because it's just going to be the same. What if it doesn't work out? And all those type of things. Remember that Mercury is the dispositor of your South Node. So this might even talk to you about being worried a little bit about financial matters, and maybe this is the reason why you are unwilling to make the next move. So just be mindful about that. But at the same time, it's also about you having to be a little bit more daring when it comes to expressing your philosophy as well as your opinion. The ninth house is where you define your truth. And this conjunction gives you that healing moment. So I want to speak my truth about an old dogma, a travel experience, a philosophical wound, something that you have been keeping quiet, maybe because you don't want to be rocking the boat. But then Mercury moves into the 10th house. And then you have healed, hopefully, your belief system. So now you are ready to solidify your professional reputation. And maybe you are ready to actually get going towards that new work. You are ready to tackle a problem, for example, at work, in a very practical, simple, and solid way. This is a brilliant time to sign agreements, set clear long-term professional expectations, because you have uncovered a lot of wisdom in your ninth house. Moon goes out of bound in your fifth house, and Shiva goes into your ninth house also. So, Moon being out of bound in the house of creativity, romance, and joy. Yes, this might be giving us the. This requires you to be big, bold, and unapologetic. Maybe you feel this urge to perform, to create, to take a risk on your own happiness, to take a risk on someone, or you might even see that your children are acting out a little bit. So let's just watch out for that a little bit. Shiva enters your ninth house and she represents transformative destruction. So, this is destructing your old limiting belief system. These type of stuck philosophies, just to make room for something new, a more fiery path. I think your creative instincts are super active with Moon out of bound in your fifth house this week. So you are going to be creating quite a lot of things, but these are sudden impulses. So you showcase your talent, but it's very easy to make mistakes as well. Just be mindful about that. And then if a belief you hold about the world isn't working, it's keeping you small, break it and replace it with some bolder, more expensive truth. That Shiva is going to force something to break down completely. So, Leo rising sign, you are moving from a professional status reset towards a other goal, towards financial security. You landing on the weekend of a quite high-powered creative expression and quite a radical philosophical transformation. I think the universe is asking you to really get serious about your own truth. You are building that public life that supports your creative joy, not one that ignores it for the sake of appearances. So let's focus on those long-term goals, and I will see you in my next forecast. Take care. Bye bye.